Hello YouTube, hello Mgtow, this is me, Mgtow on the win. Disclaimer, these videos, the majority of these videos are not going to be for kids. If you are a responsible parent, either watch the video with your kid and educate them on how these words are not to be repeated, or don't let the child watch it at all. Today we're going to talk about human nature as a whole. Let's start out with the men. See, there was once a time where a strong back and innovation would get you select breeding. You know, all you had to do was be strong, somewhat or smart or both, and you would get innovation, and you would get to select. Now, with years of social conditioning and generational what's the word? Conditioning, mental conditioning, it is now changed. It is now changed. Now, as we know that if you're a young man, you are coming into this world with, you are coming into this world in or out of poverty with little to your name as a young man. You gather your resources when you're older, as you age. Now, here's where things get interesting. The incels don't get this, and there was a lot. We were in the live stream with Mr. Traversable Mgtow. We were in the live stream with him. Now, where we did not touch on that topic, and I mean, I didn't get the chance to touch on that topic very well. Now, where the incels differ from Mgtow is they're a they are a narrow group, a very narrow group. They are an extremely narrow group. What do I mean by a narrow group? I mean narrow group by you only need little to no prerequisites to be called an incel. Like I said, there are little to no prerequisites to become an incel. But there's a background. But they come in all backgrounds. What do I mean by little to no prerequisites to be an incel? I'll explain. Now, lighting some incense. Trying to work on relaxation. What I mean by it is like this. You have to be young. Most of the time you have to be a virgin. I'll get into that later on in this segment of it. Most of the time you got to be a virgin. and you're seeking to actually get laid. You know? Most of the time you're a virgin and you're seeking to get laid. You're actively looking for female validation. God damn it, this is strong. I probably shouldn't have let that in this fucking truck. Fuck. Yeah, like I said, but female validation. You're seeking it out. Most of the incels are overly emotional. Because they were never taught how to control their emotions. They were taught to be more in touch with their emotions. Now, in that aspect, yeah, I gotta blow some of the smoke out this fucking truck. In that aspect, they don't quite understand, which leads them down the path of their own destruction. Deep breathing helps with relaxation. You know, it helps them with their path down their path of their own destruction. In many of the cases in the news today, in the news media today, now, they are the involuntary celibates. How Mgtow differs. I'm going to get into black pill as well and red pill. Actually, let's start with red pill. How red pill differs is there are many red pill that are married. AKA RPM and his secret bunker on the plantation. You get a lot of that, you know? God damn, this fucking fan is damn good. I wish I could find a way to turn this fucking thing off. They're down, or just a little bit of control. But many red pill live a Mgtow lifestyle, but do not claim it. Which, that is understandable. Because they still like dating. Now, we're going to go into the purple pill. Now, they can either be Mgtow or not Mgtow. Purple pill Mgtow. They're still on the ropes on whether or not they want to go full on. They're in the crossroads. Now, they could either, we as Mgtow can give them a choice on whether to go full red pill or go full on blue pill, depending on how we talk to them. Note I put the emphasis on talk to them. Now, if we talk to them with some form of respect that we hope to expect to get back, we may be able to warn them when to bail out. Or we can tell them to go to do some more relationships, potentially putting themselves in more danger. Because some people, you need to tell them to go date more. Now Red Pill, on the other hand, they know full well what to expect. They understand full well what to expect. But they continue down the path they are on anyways. Now, Mgtow can go to Red Pill. Red Pill can go Mgtow. It is an inverse of each other. It's like a traveling set. It's basically like an intersection. Now we're going to get into the Mgtow. The pump and dumps. Now, the pump and dumps, they have their own way of doing things, you know. They have their way of life. Now, is it healthy? Yes and no. Now, with dealing with when sleeping with one woman, you are taking a risk. Now, I'm not going to endorse or condone it. It's not my business. But I would advise using caution when going this route of Mgtow. Emphasis on caution. Now, when you go monk, yes, you have a long, hard journey. When I say long, hard journey, there are times when there are days when you question on whether or not you can continue on the path. You see some things, and it is difficult to fight your carnal desires. It is difficult to fight against your carnal desires. You have to be constantly vigilant, constantly on guard about your own mindset and your own body. You have to continuously look for any patterns of your weakness for yourself. In order to be a monk, you have to understand what your weaknesses are and know how to combat it. I cannot tell you how to combat your own weaknesses. You are in your own head. You know what you know. You know yourself well. Know yourself the best. we're gonna, but there are going to be days where you find yourselves at your weakest, and there are going to be days where you find yourself at your strongest. We're going to mosey on into the black pill of side of the manosphere. It is something that I was told that I do walk the line, but that's me walking the line. That's me on the outside. It is a deeper understanding. Now, there's certain things within the black pill community that I may never understand. I understand the survival. I understand the prep for survival. But I will never understand, I may never understand the emotional side of the black pill. Believe me, as I said in some of my previous videos, autism is both a blessing and a curse. Now, I was diagnosed with autism. Again, I repeat that. If anybody questions, I know I have autism because I went to a school that specialized, that the teachers and the staff specialized dealing with children with autism. I have worked with the staff, the teachers, and the therapist to get to where I'm at today. Instead of being on government assistance, I went to a more healthy route for not only for my well-being, for my mindset. Now, that being said, going into a healthier route. Black pill is just knowledge. They say they avoid topics such as female nature and psychology or behavior for reasons that many of them avoid those topics. Not all of them, but many of them. Many of them are trying to get their businesses, getting businesses started for themselves. Many of them trying to get things started for themselves. But in the all end, you can either go the survival route or nihilistic. There are three categories: survival, nihilistic, and self-destruction. The survivalist is constantly looking for new ways to survive, new ways to survive, to whatever, new ways to function in nature, function in the nature in the world that they are currently surrounded in. The nihilistic, yes, they understand, they are more of the dark emotions. They feed off the dark emotions of themselves. They eat themselves from the inside. From my observation, I may be getting a a mistranslation from the observation. Now, the self-destructive route is when something traumatic has happened and their mindset collapses within themselves, collapses from the inside. It can either go two ways. The offending party that offending party actually can go three ways. The offending party is harmed. The person offended is harmed, or both the offending party and the person offended is harmed. And everything around them is collateral damage because they were there. The white pill, which is less talked about. The white pill, it's a fog. It is a haze that is plastered back into the person's eyes. It's plastered back into the person's eyes so that they're unable to see what is in front of them, which ultimately clears out everything that they've learned and puts them back into the blue pill. All parties are in danger of the white pill, whether they like to admit it or not. The white pill is when they meet a woman that fits almost every criteria that they have, and carefully brings them out of the stage that they're in. And pulls them back onto the plantation. Now, when that happens, any reasoning between red and purple, and black on down is gone. Once it is, then they carefully craft them back into the wage slave mindset. It's usually over a course of years, especially if they were in black pill. It's during a course of years. To me, in a way, black pill has it the best, because by the time they've crafted them back into the wage slaves, they have matured. The party has matured. Black pills are also slightly more resistant to the white pill, depending on how far they've gone. And more observant. And more careful. I said human nature as a whole. Right? So guess what? Now we're going to go to the other side of the gender spectrum. There are so many forms of manipulation that can be performed on a man to get him to convince him to do what she wants. Now, there's the manipulation that lasts long term, or the manipulation that lasts until he stops caring. Now, some of the manipulation tactics that last until he stops caring are like A, blackmail, extortion, stuff like that. It lasts long enough until he stops caring. Some of the ways that the things that last long term are small changes over time. Small changes over time. Small, semi-unnoticeable changes over time. Over a course of days, months, years, decades. They tell people women will wait years. And that is correct. We are not patient. We are not going to wait years for certain things. We will not do that. That is not in the nature of men. I will be the first to admit it and the first to address it. Now, on that note, we have to use our, like I said, we have to, there's an observation on animals. Elephants go after the toughest, the strongest, and the biggest bull. They call for the largest bull. And it pretty much sometimes backfires. Lions will, the lioness will kill their cub to show the allegiance to the to the victor of the pride. Now, that seems that is a practice that even we as human beings are guilty of. Killing the less desired of the offspring of the previous male. Does that sound familiar? It sounds very familiar to me. I give you a hint. Their body, their choice. Now, on the next one would be snakes. One female snake would release a pheromone, calling all the other male snakes around, and it would be a mating coil. Whatever male gets there the first and the closest gets to procreate their young. Gets to procreate, gets to pass on their genetics. Guess what? We're getting closer to be nothing more than reptiles. Congratulations, society. Now, wolves have a pack mentality. The alphas, the betas, the omegas, the whatevers. They have a hierarchy. The alpha gets the best choice, gets the best selections, while everybody else gets the leftovers. Now, let's go to a matriarchal society of the animal kingdom. Hyenas. No matter what, male hyenas will never be at the top. They will be always at the bottom of the social structure. When they grow up, they have to leave the pack, or I guess they call it a pack. If male, as I said in one of our previous videos on the male hyena, if male hyenas were to form packs of their own, the female hyenas would take notice. The castless males were to form packs of their own. The female hyenas would take notice, because a lot of male hyenas are not joining packs. They're hanging outside of the packs, waiting for other males. They would be hanging outside of packs, waiting for other males to have to leave. And when they leave, they follow the males and show them the ropes. Now, for that case, many of the female hyenas of many tribes, of many of the hyena packs, would begin to take notice and chase off any offending male. Now, we're going to go into the mindset of the feminists. You can't argue with them. They're going to generalize. They believe the generalization. Whatever they say, you are inherently that. Whatever they say negative about you, you are inherently that. They have the loud majority. As you've seen in one of my previous videos, they have the loud majority. They have over 25% of many of the seats. They have at least three out of the 12 of the Supreme Court. 3 out of the 12. Think about it. You get 3 females. You get 3 men who are honest, or who are going to side with those 3 females, and 3 men that are going to seek reason, that are seeing reason. I call it a trifecto of the Supreme Court. Because no matter what you do, your decision is going to be overruled. your ruling is going to mean nothing. 25%. 25% representative. So you got 25%. And then you have another 25% of the men that are left in the Senate, legislate, whatever, that are on the ropes. So that takes away 50% of those votes, if not more. If not more. And then the only thing you have less is 25 or less. Because those men were worn down already. And are going to do everything that these 25% are doing. Say to do. That is why. That is human nature. We are the small majority. Red pill, Mgtow, black pill, IPMOR, SYSM. With all of us combined, we are not enough to do anything but take our resources and stack them up. Prepare for our survival. Prepare to survive. Because it's got to happen. And remember this always. No matter what you do, if you're in a position of power, no matter what you say, it is going to be used against you. This is Mgtow in the Wind, signing off.